Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. And my name is Dan, and today we are doing a Game Week 21 team selection video. Pretty wacky time at the moment. We've already seen a couple of games cancelled for this game week. We're expecting maybe there might be another one or two. We'll talk about all of that, guys. But yeah, if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. But without further ado, guys, I'm very excited to reveal my scores from Game Week 20. So let's do that. So here we have it, 54 points in Game Week 20. There's some heroes in this team, that's for sure. Jared Bowen, Denis finally getting into my starting 11, having had a few games postponed, getting the goal there. And Heung-min Son, not the biggest captaincy dub, but, you know, it's certainly something. And we're certainly pretty happy with the 12 points there. A lot of swings, I think, depending on who people captained. I feel like I did get really lucky with Salah getting his 0-pointer due to the penalty miss. So I got really lucky there, having sold Salah a couple of weeks ago, but at the same time, maybe some people went for Ronaldo as captain. That's going to be a huge swing for you, but overall 54 points, not a huge score, but given the circumstances, given the game week, 54 points is quite a lot of points at the moment, particularly when a lot of people can't even field a full 11. So we're feeling really blessed at the moment to have that really strong bench to be able to play 11 players every week without having to use wild cards and free hits and taking -4s. And I think that's really helped, not panicking too much and kind of just trusting the players that we've got rather than trying to change everything. When everything is so unpredictable right now, you can take a -4 this week for a player who next week might have their game postponed again. So I feel like that's been really advantageous as well. But as you can see, the new rank is 65th in the world. We've gone from 137th to 65th in the world. This is the highest my rank has ever been at the end of any particular game week. So we are at a season high right now, I suppose. So really exciting stuff. We've still got all of our chips in the bag, other than the first wild card, of course. So we've got free hits to come, triple captains, bench boosts as well, and of course my second wild card as well. So overall, really exciting stuff. A really good position to be in. The best position I've ever been in FPL in my life by some distance. So yeah, absolutely buzzing right now. Really pleased to end 2021 basically with a bit of a bang. I know it's not an enormous score, but it feels like a bang, really, doesn't it, guys, to be inside the top 100 right now. So absolutely insane. Can I keep this rank? Can I push up even further? Can I try and sneak into the top 50 somehow? It's very close at the top at the moment. You know, it's only going to take a 1 or 2 point gain to get me into the top 50. So I think it's very doable in terms of getting to number 1 place. Number 1 is actually flying at the moment. That guy's team is something like 40-50 points ahead of me. So a long way to go until first. So I'm certainly not thinking about first place quite yet, but certainly this game week is gonna be another strange one because of all the postponements, injuries, COVID going around. It's gonna be a pretty crazy one as well. So I'm gonna try and help you guys to deal with it, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna personally hopefully be dealing with this game week. Let me show you how I'm gonna line up. So, new year, blank pitch, a new lineup, I suppose. Game week 21, who are we going to start with? Well, we're going to start off in goal with Hugo Lloris. An away game against Watford. It's not the worst fixture in the world. I mean, I kind of hoped for a clean sheet against Southampton last game week. It wasn't to happen, but, I feel like Spurs have not only just got some good fixtures, but they've also got some double game weeks definitely going to come up soon. They've got a lot of fixtures that they need to rearrange to make it, that will turn into double game weeks, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for with our Spurs players at the moment. So I'm all up for investing in Spurs at the moment, even if you don't think all of the fixtures are amazing. I don't know, you look at this Arsenal and Chelsea fixture, fair enough, they might not be amazing, but if one of those becomes a double game week, we're looking at game week 22 easily becoming a double game week for Spurs, and then a few more in kind of a few game weeks after that as well. It's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really good. So Lloris against Watford, I don't know. Spurs are performing as one of the best defensive teams in the whole league at the moment. We've kind of seen some teams drop off, some teams kind of improving in defensively, and certainly under Conte, Spurs are looking better and better defensively. So let's see what they can do. Clean sheet against Watford, I think there's a decent chance of it. There's a very decent chance of it. So let's move on into defence. We've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, an away game against Chelsea. Now, a lot of people probably say this Chelsea game is a really difficult game, but when we kind of look at the situation at Chelsea right now, it's actually not looking too good. There seems to be a lot of worry in the camp. We've got more and more injuries now. We know that Chilwell's injured, Reece James is injured. some of the other guys perhaps not at full fitness at this exact moment. And Chelsea are just kind of lacking in a lot of confidence at the moment. They're making individual errors, and I think they are, in many ways, right now, there for the taking. And I've even heard that Chelsea do want to have this game called off. So that is definitely something to be aware of, guys. I know that the Liverpool do have a couple new COVID cases in their team as well. But this is one of those games, this Liverpool versus Chelsea game, that I do think is at risk. So be aware of this. As always, leave your transfers to the last second, as late as physically possible, because this could not go ahead. But as things stand, it is going ahead, and if it does, I do feel fairly confident in Liverpool going there and getting a result, to be honest. So Chelsea, difficult fixture typically, but I think actually we could actually see that this being not such a bad fixture, and particularly in front of goal. You never know. We could honestly be on for some clean sheets here for Liverpool as well. I certainly would not be wanting to invest in the Chelsea attack in this game week, that's for sure. But we'll move on to Cancelo, an away game at Arsenal. I can't really tell if this is a difficult fixture or not. I've currently listed this as a red fixture just because I feel like, obviously the teams that we typically list as red fixtures, hard fixtures are, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, but Arsenal are actually showing some of the best form in the Premier League, full stop. So is this Arsenal game going to be difficult? Well, I mean, typically Man City have whenever they've played Arsenal, they seem to batter Arsenal, and Arsenal haven't been great against the top teams either. So in that sense, I wouldn't be too scared of owning City players in this game week. I know I've put it down as a red fixture, but it's kind of like if we're looking at it very objectively, which are the difficult teams right now? Arsenal are one of the more difficult teams right now, but the form that we're kind of seeing from Man City at the moment, the amount of goals they're scoring, how good they are defensively as well, everything is looking so good at Man City. They seem just to be by far the best team in the league right now, and you probably predict that they're gonna quite easily win this Premier League season, right? So don't be too worried, I guess, about that one is all I would say. Cancelo is still a fantastic option, and I'm really, really pleased to own him, and I think it's even worth considering doubling up on the City defense if that's something you want to do. And then we're going to finish off the defence with Marcus Alonso, kind of because we don't really have much of a choice right now. You're going to see on my bench pretty soon that my bench is not a good situation. We'll have a look at that in a minute, but we don't really have much options here, do we? I've kind of been saying this for a while. I would ideally like to not have Chelsea defenders, but there's been so many fires to put out in our FPL teams that, unless you're taking -4s and -8s or wild carding every week, it's not really possible to do everything that you want to do. So you kind of do have to just chill out a little bit and maybe accept that some weeks your players are just going to get 1 or 2 pointers, and accept that those 1 or 2 pointers are probably better off than taking the -4 in the long run. And that's kind of what I've been finding recently, which is why I've not been going too crazy on the -4s, particularly with all of the seemingly random cancellations for fixtures. So am I confident about Alonso in this game? No. Am I even confident that he's going to start? Well, I think he should. There's not really many other options, to be fair, at Chelsea in terms of fullbacks. There's already talk about Chelsea potentially recalling players from loan or buying back players in the January transfer window. So let's see, but for now, Alonso is unfortunately going to have to be a part of my starting 11. Moving on into midfield, we have got Raheem Sterling, who didn't start last game week. I guess I was a little bit disappointed by that, but I can't say I was particularly surprised by it, really, if I'm completely honest anyway, because a lot of Man City games within this very, very tight space. With the squad that Man City have, there is going to be a lot of rotation, but the good thing about Sterling playing 0 minutes in game week 20 is that it is very, very likely that, with only less than 3 days between the two City fixtures, the Game Week 20 City fixture and the Game Week 21 City fixture, there is probably going to be a bit of rotation, and Sterling has been a player who has been playing very well for Man City over the last couple of months, so there is no reason to think that he wouldn't come straight back into this team, whether he's playing on the wing, whether he's playing through the middle, not exactly sure. But we're expecting rotation. We think there's going to be a little bit of rotation going into this game. And I really, really do hope and believe that Sterling is going to come back into this Man City side. For how long? I don't know. I don't know. But this seems like if we're going to put money really on when Sterling's going to play and when he isn't going to play, this seems like a good week. And when he plays well. And like I say, Manchester City do typically batter Arsenal. The Arsenal game is when De Bruyne usually steps up his game to the next level. And I don't know, maybe Sterling can help out there. Maybe get a goal from KDB assists, or maybe assist KDB goals or something like that. That is what I'm kind of hoping for, really, in this game in terms of from Sterling. So confident about that one. Absolutely excellent. Let's move on to Heung-min Son. A really good signing. I'm really happy that I signed him into my FPL team, to be honest, because he's played pretty well. He's been a captain option for the last 2 game weeks for me, which has been really useful. We've got a Watford game now. Watford actually don't have a fit right back at the moment, which is a big deal. Son is obviously going to be charging down that left-hand side. If Watford don't have a fit right back, are we going to be seeing another Son feast? I feel like, particularly as it's Watford, a team that have been the whipping boys all season, they are not a good defence. They've never really tried to be a good defence, and under Ranieri, they're not exactly improved defensively either. I think this could be a really, really good game week for Son. So really confident about this pick. Spurs players in general, Spurs attackers in particular. If you've got a Kane or a Lucas in your team as well, you should be really, really excited for this game. We've got Jota next. Chelsea away. Again, like I said earlier, I don't think this is going to be such a bad game. I think this is a very good time to play against Chelsea at the moment. So, I feel like Jota could be genuinely really, really decent for this game week, providing he plays. And again, I don't really see why he wouldn't play. I mean, we could potentially talk about Firmino coming back in, but is there going to be other players rotated, rested? Is there players with COVID right now? I don't know exactly what's the situation is with Liverpool. We know that there is not an outbreak of COVID at Liverpool, but there is a couple of cases. So, it could even be Jota or Trent, technically, I suppose. But, I just hope that Jota can play in this game. And even if he doesn't, it's kind of like, even if he comes off the bench for a 1-pointer, we take that at this point. We really do. There's no point trying to think, I just want 10 pointers from every single player in my team. It's just not realistic right now. We kind of just have to accept that this is where we're at in terms of FPL. And then when we get the double game weeks and stuff later, then things will get a lot more exciting, and we will have, some nice big scores. But from right now, I hope Jota starts. If he does, I think he can definitely get on the score sheet. I really would not be too surprised if Liverpool did batter Chelsea this game week. I really wouldn't be too surprised. It could happen. It really could, knowing where Chelsea are at right now. I kind of feel a little bit bad for Chelsea, to be honest, at the moment, because it has really been a real capitulation. But hopefully Jota can do the business. We've got Jared Bowen next against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace obviously have had a couple of absentees in their team recently through COVID and the like. Bowen just showed last game week how amazing he is as a football player. He really is such a talented guy. 3 assists and the disallowed goal as well. Really, really incredible stuff. And I do think he's going to continue this form. I still think he is the key player in that West Ham attack. And he's so fit as well that I'm not even concerned about him getting rotated. And that's such a blessing, really, in many ways, isn't it? So really excited about this one. Crystal Palace, are a team that is prone to conceding a few goals. So Bowen is hopefully going to continue, continue to show the proof in the pudding, pay us back for the faith that we've shown him, and put in another cracking performance. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a player who is one of the top scoring players, over the course of 5 game weeks or something like that. I really would not be surprised by that at all. He's good and he's on fire, and I'm not going to stop hyping him up ever. I really will not stop hyping him up ever. We're going to finish off the midfield with Emil Smith-Rowe. I do think that maybe this is the time for Smith-Rowe to come back into the starting lineup, to be honest, because there's not much time between Arsenal's games at the moment. So is there going to be a bit of rotation? Smith-Rowe's got to come back into this Arsenal team. There's no way you can keep benching him. I know Arsenal didn't play a game last game week, but the game week before, it's kind of like Smith-Rowe on the bench again for the 3rd or 4th successive game, and every time he comes off the bench, he delivers. He is making such a statement that he needs to be in the starting lineup, and I do think it could actually, a player like Smith-Rowe could suit a game like City. So this is the most confident I've been since Smith-Rowe's been benched every game week. This is the most confident I've been in him starting. Whether we're going to get points or not here is a very different question. It's a case of what do you look at? Do you think Arsenal historically bad against City, bad against the higher up teams, the top teams? Or do you think Arsenal are in really good form and maybe could get a result here? Now, if you think they're going to get a result here, Smith Rowe starting, you very much think that he is going to be part of that, don't you? You know, he's inevitable. He seems to score whenever he is on the pitch. It's just what happens. Smith Rowe and goals just go hand in hand, don't they? So, yeah, if someone's going to score for Arsenal, surely it's going to be Smith Rowe. I'll certainly be cheering Smith Rowe on from the sidelines. That's for sure. So, yeah. Back into the team, please, Smith Rowe, and a goal. And then even if you're not starting, I mean, he's just going to come off the bench and score anyway, isn't he, guys? That's what he does. Going up front, we've got Antonio. Again, another situation where I'm confident about this West Ham team against Crystal Palace. West Ham are a really good team right now. You know, they may have slip-ups occasionally where you think, oh my God, what has happened to West Ham? But then they go back to being the boss West Ham team that we love, right? So Antonio is, again, hopefully going to be leading the line, you know, maybe dropping in a little bit deeper, creating a little bit for Bowen. Antonio seems to be a little bit, you know, better for assists right now, to be honest. But, yeah, it's only a matter of time before he starts scoring some more goals. We saw him score, you know, a couple of game weeks ago, didn't we? So, yeah, he's going to be back in the points. He's got to be back in the points. And, again, this game against Crystal Palace is a really good opportunity for the West Ham attackers. These two in particular, Antonio, Bowen, these are the guys who you back, really, don't you? If you're going to get some goals in this game, you know these two guys are going to be involved, for sure. It's got to happen. And then we're going to finish off the team with Denis. I know it's kind of contradictory. I've got Denis against Lloris, but like I say, guys, you know, we can't be too fussy. We can't be too particular. We can't expect every single thing to go our way. This is going to be another low-scoring game week, just like last game week. So we kind of just have to accept it's going to be a low-scoring game week. That's fine. You know, we take what we can get. You know, you can't expect Lloris to have an amazing clean sheet with 3 save points and stuff like that. And, you know, Denis to score as well. You know, you take one or the other and, you know, you have to spread your hedge your bets a little bit because there's not really many choice because there's not enough games going on at the moment and you can't rip up your team and expect everything every game week. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a win-win situation because if Watford are going to score, it is going to be Denis. And, you know, if Watford don't score, then, you know, we're talking about Lloris clean sheet. So a win-win situation, I suppose. Now, interestingly on Denis, I did want to cover this quickly on today's video because obviously things have changed since my last video, which is crazy how quickly things change. But Denis is now not in the Nigeria squad. It's some kind of administrative error. I don't know if there's something suspect going on there. And I say this as a Denis owner. I actually feel like this kind of feels wrong. I really wish that Denis could go to the Africa Cup of Nations. I really think I was really genuinely happy for him that he got his call up and he was going to be able to participate in that tournament. But it seems like there's been an administrative error. You know, the email or to confirm him in the Nigeria squad was sent slightly too late or something like that. You know, it's a really weird situation, to be honest. And as things stand, Denis is just not going to be going to AFCON. He's not going to be playing for Nigeria, and therefore he won't miss any game weeks. Now, contrary to that, there is also a small possibility, and this is one to keep an eye on, guys. There is a small possibility that Nigeria can, liaise with FIFA and impose the regulation where Denis is not allowed to play for Watford whilst the African Cup of Nations is occurring, because it's about fairness. You can't say to your player they're not allowed to play in AFCON and then play them in the Premier League. And apparently there's some kind of rule where maybe someone else knows a little bit more about this rule than I do, but apparently there is this rule where maybe Nigeria can actually block Denis from playing for Watford during game weeks 22, 23, and potentially 24 as well. So, do keep an eye on that one, guys. Obviously, in FPL terms, we want Denis in our teams. But I don't know. It feels a little bit sour. It feels a little bit sour from where I stand. But there you go. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased as well as a Nigeria fan in that tournament. But there we go. On my bench, guys, like I say, there is nothing. We've got nothing. We've got Foster, who's injured. But by the way, Foster is actually, he's coming back from injury. By the way, guys, he is in training, which is good. But I don't think he's going to be ready to start this West Ham game. We've got Tomiyasu, still potentially with COVID. We're not 100% sure when his when he's going to be back available. But there's potential for him to be available for this Man City game, I guess, but certainly we're not going to be too confident about that one. And Reece James obviously has his hamstring injury, which could rule him out for 6 weeks, 2 months. It could be a very long time. So we're certainly not counting on James at all. We can say with absolute confidence James will not be available for this game week. After that, it's very, very unlikely for quite some time. So, I think, guys, we do have to be honest with ourselves and kind of cut our losses with James. I know a lot of us have got a lot of money invested in James, but, if you can't play for 6-7 game weeks, particularly if there's some double game weeks in there that we want to capitalise on, we can't. I feel like we can't hold on to James. He's got to be a transfer out, really. Unless you can afford to just bench him for a game week or two, I think he's got to be a transfer out. And then Broja, of course, that game week was unfortunately postponed this morning, which is really disappointing because I was really looking forward to a Broja masterclass against Newcastle, but wasn't to be, I suppose. So what are we going to do here, guys? Well, it kind of depends. As long as the Liverpool and Chelsea game does go ahead, I'm not going to be thinking about free hitting or minuses or anything like that. And I'm basically just going to make one very simple switch, and that is going to because like I say, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible right now, not take hits or anything like that, because your hits can all become pointless next game week. And next game week, we're probably going to find out about double game weeks. We still haven't found out about double game weeks as I record this video. Maybe we'll find out later on Friday. Maybe we'll find out on Saturday morning more about double game weeks. Will there be any game week 21 doubles? Maybe, but it's looking less and less likely now. Game week 22 is really when the doubles are going to be. So let's wait and find out about that, I suppose. But if I'm predicting what kind of a transfer move I will probably make is a transfer out of Reece James, and we're going to downgrade him because big at the back is not as great as we once thought it would be. We are going to be downgrading James a little bit, and I'm thinking either going for a Matty Cash as a potential option, or the one I like a little bit more is actually Emerson Royale. So that's what we're going to do provisionally. We're going to switch James for Emerson Royale, and we're going to have Emerson Royale replace Alonso in the starting lineup. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not huge on doubling up on the Spurs defense right now, particularly when I'm kind of cheering for Denis on the other side of the field, right? But look, like I keep saying, you can't have everything go your way right now, and we kind of have to accept that this is not going to be a particularly high-scoring game week, and it's better to kind of prepare your team for future game weeks. And what we know about Spurs, and I keep banging on about this, is that they have so many game weeks that that will become doubles. They've got so many fixtures to be arranged that in the next sort of 6, 7, 8 game weeks, we could see Spurs have as many as 3 double game weeks. So tripling up on Spurs might not be a bad idea at all. The two things that are kind of putting me off this move a little bit one, I don't want to double up on the Spurs defence particularly. Even though Spurs are one of the stronger defences statistically right now, I'm still not 100% convinced by it. But the other reason is because I kind of do, in a way, want to leave myself open to getting Kane back into my team. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit prematurely here, but there's that thing in the back of my mind that makes me say I want to stay flexible in a way, and I want to have that option whether I go for it or not. I don't know. Kane does seem to be coming back into form slightly, and if he's getting double game weeks, maybe it's the Son and Kane double up I want to be capitalising on, or although on the other hand, if there is double game weeks, maybe I'm going to be using a free hit in those game weeks anyway, in which case I can mix things up as much as I want. So that's kind of all I'm going to say on that one, guys. Emerson is my favourite. If I'm not looking at anything else, if there is no other factor whatsoever, if I'm not even considering anything else, I'm just looking at one defender. Daniel, you're playing FPL, you're only allowed one defender. That's your entire squad has to consist of one defender, and it can't be any of the defenders that you already have in your team. Who are you going to go for? Obviously we'd probably be looking at some Man City players, but Emerson is really, really the player I like the most as a defender. Given the defensive form of Spurs and the double game weeks coming up, I really, really do like Emerson as a pick, and his underlying stats are good. He's one of the highest performing, defenders in terms of underlying stats. He's very attacking. He's playing pretty well as well, and I have a lot of confidence that he can be involved in some of not just the defensive stuff, but also some of the attacking stuff as well. So even if Denis was to score, for example, in this game week, I would still be reasonably confident that Emerson in a game which favours a Spurs attackers, I count Emerson as one of those Spurs attackers who could potentially get on the score sheet, goals, assists. He's creating chances, he's taking shots on. So yeah, lots of like there. Obviously, guys, this isn't final, by the way. This very much is not final. I'm going to be leaving my transfers and my decisions till the last minute. I'm really hoping for double game week announcements before I do anything, but who knows whether we'll get that in time or not. We might just have to go with our gut, I suppose. But on captains, guys, I am going to go for Heung-min Son for captaincy. I'm really confident about Son this game week. I really like the look of this. I think that maybe Son may be even the best captain option out of all players. I mean, who else are we going to go for? Maybe a Salah or a Kevin De Bruyne if you have him. Those kind of players would be options, obviously. Harry Kane potentially. But yeah, Son, I do think is a fantastic captain option for this game week, and I'm really happy to go for him, to be honest. So yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to go for Son captain, and I'm going to put the vice captain actually on Jared Bowen. There is a chance that West Ham do get a double game week, as remote as that chance is. There is a chance that Bowen does get a double game week, so in game week 21, and imagine if that's announced after the deadline. I don't know. It's remote. It's really low chance, but you never know. You never know right now, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is as far as Bowen is concerned. Absolutely love the guy. And if I'm gonna have a backup captain, why not? He's got a good fixture, unlike many of our other premium players, right? So yeah, there we go, guys. That's the team. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. Remember, this is not a final team. There is a high chance of me making changes, and I'm gonna leave those changes right till deadline. And also, I don't even know if I'm going to be doing a deadline stream because it's pretty early in the morning, and I'm hoping to be hungover, to be honest, after partying for New Year's Eve tonight. But yeah, there we go, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. And yeah, just enjoy New Year's Eve. And I suppose if I don't speak to you guys before the new game week, good luck in game week 21. It's going to be another wild one, but I'm sure you guys will do just fine. So yeah, thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye bye.